Alright guys, I know you've been patiently waiting, so here they are. I've had these two RG kits for quite a while, and it's time to finally get around to building them, eh? I know you guys have been seeing them on my shelf, people have been asking, when are you going to review those kits? So let's just go ahead and do it. So here we're going to be reviewing both of the RG GP01 Gundams, the Zephyranthes version and also the full burner version. So we're going to go in order, and I'll review just the regular standard Zephyranthes version first, and then in the next video we'll take a look at the full burner. So I really was super excited when these first came out, and then obviously I got them, and then I haven't really ever done anything with them. So I don't know, I think they're going to be pretty cool kits, but I've heard that they can be a little bit testy, especially with the core fighter gimmick in the chest. You kind of have to be really careful with that. It kind of crumbles very easily. So I'm going to be careful with that. Otherwise, I think these kits should be pretty fine. I mean, the GP01's a pretty solid design. It's not like it has like big wings or anything like that too crazy going on. So it's just a pretty standard Gundam, which I think is maybe one of the reasons why it's not a very exciting Gundam for me. I like the design, but it's not one that I particularly love. It's just a little bit boring kind of in a way. So I definitely do prefer the full burn-in version, I think, more, so we'll take a look at that next video. But for now, let's go ahead and get into the GP01 Zephyranthes. It's a pretty standard RG style box art here on the front, and just a reminder to you guys, this kit came out all the way back in 2013, so it's been out for quite a while now. On the side of the box, this is going back to number 12 in the RG line. On the bottom of the box, just once again showing that big shot of the face that we can see on the front of the box art. Then over here, showing you what the inner frame is going to look like. So it's going to have that pre-molded RG style inner frame going on there. It is going to include some marking stickers, and then you have the core fighter, of course, which will transform and go into the chest. That seems to be like the main problem with this kit, this section here, so I'll be careful with that. And then here's what the kit is going to look like, just built up and stickered up and not painted, and it does look pretty good there. And it does include a little 1/44 scale pilot figure as usual, of course, as well too. Over here then on the top of the box, here's some action poses: kneeling and shooting, standing and shooting, standing and beam sabering, and standing, just standing. And then some detail shots there. Of course, with it being an RG kit, the detail does look really nice. I'm assuming this is going to have the typical RG style, like two-tone white. It's not very apparent here in the photos, but I would assume it's probably got that. And because I've had this for a while, this one does have the price on here. This originally went for 2,500 yen. And if we pop it open here in typical RG style too, we've got some other examples of some kits, other versions of the GP01s, the perfect grade, the real grade FB version there. And on the other side, the SD version, the HG version, and the MG version, which could very much use a 2.0. Fingers crossed on that. And then also, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed this before, real grade kits come with the manuals on the top, where pretty much all the other kits usually the manuals at the bottom. I don't know, it's just an interesting thing. And here we've got a bunch of runners, so let's just go ahead and check out the manual first. As usual for a real grade manual, we've just got that close-up image there on the front. On the back side are realistic sticker decal marking layout here, so where those go. I'll put some of them on, certainly not all of them, because there's quite a lot, as with the RG kits, but I'll put some of those on so you guys can see how those will look. Our color chart down here for what colors this should be in, pretty standard colors though: white, red, blue, gray. That's kind of about it. And then our detail painting guide here for the figure as well, so that's pretty cool. Opening it up to the front pages, we get a look at the parts list. We're going to be not using one of the parts there from the pre-molded frame runner. I'm wondering if this is using the same frame runner as the RG Gundam Mark II. I believe maybe it is, and that's the part from the chest that we're not going to use with this, because obviously it has the core fighter. So anyway, that's pretty much it, and then we get into some other details over here, a little bit more talking about the Gundam GP01 Zephyranthes there. This is, again, before they started including English in any of the manuals, so it's just all in Japanese there. We got some nice pretty pictures to look at, and just go through the construction. So it looks like you're going to be building the core fighter first, then the legs, and then the waist, and then the body, and then the arms, and then the head, and finally the weapons. So we got some more information and photos there about the weapons, and then just how to build those up, the rifle, the shield, and just the different hand options and how to equip those, and that's pretty much it. And so here's the decal sheet, and actually I'm very surprised at just how small this is for an RG kit. This is actually very few decals. Alright, the runner A is a 4-color runner. We've got some clear up at the top, some yellow down here, some dark brownish gray color over here, mostly just kind of gunmetal kind of color there, and then some white. And then runner B here, our advanced MS Joint 5. Now this version of this runner came out in 2012 originally, so 1 year earlier than the GP01 kit here actually came out. So yeah, if I remember correctly, this is used for the Gundam Mark II. Then we're going to see here is the rest of our colored parts for the kit. We got our beam saber effect parts over here in clear pink and like the softer beam saber type of material. We got some red, and then some blue throughout the center. Runner D1 here is some more parts in white, including our little pilot figure on there. And then runner D2 is a copy of this half of the runner. Then runner E1 is some of our joint and frame parts, also backpack parts, stuff like that here in this gunmetal-y kind of color. We do also have a copy of this portion of the runner here, this portion of the runner here for runner F2. E2, I should say. Sorry about that. This is runner F here for some more parts, and this one does seem to be slightly off-white, so you will have a little bit of that two-tone white, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be very noticeable. And then runner G is some parts in a very dark gray ABS plastic for this, so this should be kind of interesting. Some more like joint parts, and you can see there's some hand parts on here as well. So there we go, guys. I feel like it's been a while since I've built an RG Gundam. I think the last RG kit before I built the Evangelion kits was maybe the new or the Sazabi. Which one of those came out first? I don't remember, but anyway, it'll be fun building another RG Gundam again, so we'll build this up and then see how it looks. Alright guys, so here it is, almost all put together, and basically you're going to build it up in kind of three main sections: the legs and the top half and the core fighter. So you can have the core fighter just out separate if you want, you just have that on its own, but I think if you're going to be buying this kit, it's kind of, because I mean without the core fighter there's not really a whole much else that you can do with the rest of the Gundam, so you're basically throwing away like 2/3 of the kit or more just to have the core fighter. So it's cool for like display purposes if you want to just build it up like this, and you can just kind of check out the core fighter, and then you're going to want to just put it into the body. So let me go ahead and do that. And now I've heard this is kind of like the main weak point of the kit, because the arms and legs on their own feel solid enough, and so I think we just remove the landing gear on the bottom of here too. But I guess just once you get the core fighter in there is when it gets kind of janky, as I've heard, but I'll let you guys know my thoughts and my experience here once I get this transformed. Let me just go ahead and get all this stuff all folded up here like this. Alright, so there it is. I mean, the transformation wasn't all that difficult, and it seems to be holding together pretty well. Now, as for the stability of that, we'll see over the course of the review if I start to notice any issues once we get into posing or anything, but as far as just how it looks, I mean, it looks great. It actually looks a lot more beefy than I was expecting. I don't really kind of imagine the GP01 as being a very kind of beefy or bulky suit, but it does have some nice bulk to it. I really quite like the proportions of this. It does look really nice. Of course, the details look fantastic as well, too. With it being a real grade kit, they're known for being very nicely detailed. It doesn't really have anything in the way of seam lines as well too, which you might expect is not very surprising, but just to let you guys know, there's no seam lines on this either, so that looks very nice. Painting this kit is going to be very simple, I think, and it's definitely going to look fantastic once you do get it all painted up. But let's go ahead and check out everything that it does come with as well. So for hand options, of course, we got the pre-molded RG style hands, which actually look better on this version than other ones, I think. The just closed fists that we have just molded on with the arms, I think do look actually pretty good. And just on another note, just about the appearance of this kit, I love just how mean the face looks as well too. I was talking about just how buff it is, but also just the head in general has a really cool, mean look to it. So other hand options, we've got the articulated RG hands, which I don't really like, but you have these if you do want to use them. You have the thumb, which has a couple joints on there. It's just attached via ball joint, and then the first and second, third, fourth fingers are separate like that, and those have a few points of articulation in them. I don't really like these, so I won't really be using them. And you have a fixed pose, a holding hand for basically the beam rifle on the side, or you can use it for the beam sabers, and we've got two of those, of course. Now the beam sabers do also have their own handles. Now these are different from the handles on the backpack. Those don't have any little pegs on them. These separate handles have a little peg on the side of there, so it'll be more stable, gripped in the hand like that. And then there's your standard beam saber effect parts. These are the longer type 1/44 scale beam saber effect parts. We have our tiny little 1/44 scale co-figure here, saluting in his military uniform. An action base adapter here as well. And the shield, which does have its collapsing action like that. It can fold up or fold out. You've got two more sets of ammo E-packs, I believe those are there on the back. This shield mount here, which is also the RG frame pre-molded shield mount, is just attached via a ball joint, and this plugs into the back of the arm. You've got a little movement there, and then this main handle here doesn't move, but you can actually pull that off of there and reattach that up there like that for, I guess, the folded up kind of stored position for that. But you do have another option as well, which is another handle here with the hand pre-molded on there. So the hand and handle are just molded together, so that'll give you guys, I guess, maximum stability. And that'll be for plugging this into there like that. So if you're going to be holding the shield out in front like that. You can do poses like that, whereas if you were just using the regular hand on the handle, you wouldn't be able to do that. The shield would just fall down. With this being molded together, then you're actually able to hold the shield straight out in front like that, which is pretty cool. And just on the topic of decals, I put a couple of them on the kit, but basically just to show you guys that on the blue section, the decals are going to be looking kind of okay, not really all that good, but on the white section, the decals are going to be looking fine. You're not really going to see any outline of those too much, so those are all right. And then we've got the beam rifle, which I didn't put the clear piece in. You got this little clear piece in there for the camera. I'll put that in once it's all actually painted, but this front handle will move side to side, and then this one also does have a little peg in the side of the hand there for plugging into the hand for more stability with that. So that should be very nice. I really like the design of this beam rifle, actually. It's a really cool take on the Gundam beam rifle. Very similar to the RX-78s, of course, but different enough that I think it does look pretty cool. You do also have this beam effect part here for this as well too, which I forget now at the moment what it's called. It's like something I can't remember. The Banshee Norn has the same thing too, right? Or a similar one, but there you go. That'll just go like that on there. So that is also a pretty cool effect there for the beam rifle. It makes it stand out a little bit more than your standard beam rifle, having its own kind of beam effect part on there like that as well too. And for a little comparison, there it is next to the HG RX-78-2 Gundam, and so you can see they're basically going to be coming out to about the same size there as you might expect. Now let's just quick take a look at some of the articulation here. So the head will go up pretty far up to there. That's not too bad. The little antenna on the top of the head can also move a little bit, so just be very careful with that. It's a very tiny little piece there, so up and down movement there for the head, very nice. The cockpit hatch does open. I think it'd probably be better to use some tweezers here for this, but that'll open up, and then you can see the cockpit inside of there, or the canopy of the core fighter up inside there. And the canopy, I didn't mention this before, the canopy on the core fighter does open, but there's not a like pre-molded little pilot inside there. It just looks like an empty canopy basically, as it is with all the RG kits. The cockpit hatches all open, but there's not actually anyone molded inside there. I think that's the case for almost all of them anyway. So the shoulder will swing forward like that, and also there are little clear parts that will go inside those little kind of cameras on the top of the shoulders there. I haven't put those in either because they're also the kind of clear pieces that, like, once you put it in there, you're never going to get it out again. So those will also go in once the kit is actually painted. The shoulder armor itself will move up and down here like that. You can bring the arm up, it looks like, pretty high for up to the top like that. That was a weird pronunciation, sorry about that, guys. You can rotate the arms there full 360 degrees. You got a nice double joint here in the elbow, giving you a nice full bend there as well. Separation of this nice elbow armor there. Also, the wrist is just on a ball joint. You do have a little hinge there kind of at the base of the wrist inside the forearm, also that will move that kind of gray piece there. You can see that moving as well too, but the wrist is just on a ball joint, as I said. Around here on the backpack, the kind of connection pieces for the beam sabers is on a small little ball joint, so you can kind of move that around a little bit as well too. I think you can kind of set it out to the side a little bit more of an angle out to the side like that. The thruster bells down here can also move a little bit up and down, so you can kind of adjust the angle of those too if you want to have those more pointed out a little bit. The torso articulation, I think you're not really going to have much there, obviously because of the core fighters in there. You can rotate that, of course, but any stomach crunch or anything I think is not really going to happen with this. The skirt armor, of course, will just move on its own. So the front skirts come up pretty far there. It looks like you got some nice detail up underneath there as well, so they'll just be careful moving those because those are also part of the pre-molded, insert molded part there for the hip section. The side skirts also move up and down a little bit, not too much there. The back skirts can move on their own as well, but with the backpack kind of in the way, there's not really going to be much room for those to move. The leg will come up to about 90 degrees to the body there, and then when we bend the knee here, it's pretty tight, so I mean, that's good, better than being loose, but you got some movement of the knee armor, and also the thigh armor is going to slide there, so some really nice movement of the armor pieces there. That all looks very cool. And then out to the side, looks like you can bring the leg pretty far out to the side as well too, so the movement of the legs looking pretty good so far. Down here in the ankle joint, you also have this type of ankle joint here. It looks like where I think this front armor of the leg, I think it's supposed to slide as well too. Like this part here, when you point the foot down, this part is supposed to slide up and down ever so slightly, so you can see when you have the leg bent up, that part is pushed up into there all the way. And then when you bend the foot down, this part will slide down a little bit. It's a very noticeable difference, basically a little crack in there that you can see is exposed. But the ankle armor will move a little bit there like that, but then you have some really nice piston detail up inside there. The toe obviously will point down. You have a little bit of a bend here at the end of the toe as well. I guess in theory, it doesn't really seem to move all that much, but that is a separate piece there, that little piece there for the toe. But you can point the toe down there like that, up underneath the feet. You got some nice detail there. These actually come out as well too. These are little bits that will pop out of here. So you can see those little bits pop out there on the bottom side of the feet. So that's a cool little detail there for that. Otherwise, I think that is pretty much it for the articulation. The articulation seems pretty nice, and like I said, the arms and legs seem very solid. It's just in the core section, you're going to be wanting to be careful with that, I guess, but so far I'm not really noticing too much issue with that. And of course, overall, the part separation looks really nice. The actual yellow parts here for these little bits, the yellow part there for the Vulcans, those all look really nice. Just the color separation of the two-tone white, not super noticeable, but in a few places you can kind of notice where you're having that two-tone white. Does look pretty nice. It's subtle, that's good. Got the shiny metallic sticker there that goes for the red little bits on the knee, very iconic to the GP01, of course. And I did also, of course, put the sticker on there for the eyes as well too, as I'm sure you guys have noticed. I did not put the stickers on the head cameras though too, just because I wanted to show you guys that those are actually clear parts in there. Underneath the eyes is also a clear part as well too, of course. Here on the backpack too, I put the sticker on there for that, but that's also a clear part if you prefer to just paint that yourself or something. So that's just underneath the sticker there. So there it is, guys. I mean, I am very impressed with this kit. Now I'm kind of sad that it took me so long to finally get around to building it because, you know, I've never really been super big into the GP01 either, but I actually really like this kit. It looks great, and the stability issues that I've heard about with this, I haven't really experienced so far. I mean, you know, I've only really played around with it just a little bit, but I really don't think it's as bad as some people make it out to be, at least from my limited experience so far. So, I mean, I would say if you guys like the look of this as well too, if you're a fan of the GP01, definitely check this kit out. Don't be too worried about it being weak or anything like that. It is an older RG kit, but I think it still holds up perfectly well as far as I can tell. Still hoping for a Master Grade 2.0 at some point, you know, hopefully that'll come out eventually, but until then I think this is definitely going to be the best version of the GP01 that you can get. I mean, the PG is pretty impressive still, but not building that yet, I couldn't really speak too much on that personally from my personal experience, but this one is pretty awesome. So if you guys have any other further questions, of course, do feel free to let me know down there in the comment section. But thank you all so much for watching today, and thank you so much for your support as well too, whether it be commenting on the video, liking the video, subscribing, all that's greatly appreciated as well too, guys. And thank you again to USA Gundam Store for making it all possible as well too. So check out all the RG kits, all the Bandai kits, everything, Kotobukiya, all that kind of stuff. You can check the link to USA Gundam Store down in the video description as always, guys, and my coupon code there as well. Use that to save yourself 10% off everything there also. So alright guys, until next time, hope you're all having a great day. I'll see y'all later. Bye bye.